in 1975, after Saigon had fell, Vietnam was in the midst of chaos, and so many of the Vietnamese people were leaving the country, and and it was such a horrible time for all of them. Many of them lost their families, they lost their homes, they lost their jobs, they lost everything, their country, in order to get away from a communist way of life. And at that time, I was a relief worker, a volunteer relief worker for an organization called Food for the Hungry. And during that time, we leased a battleship from the Australian Navy, and we cruised the South China Seas helping the boat people. And we could bring them on board the ship. We couldn't keep them on board because of international law, but we could give them fresh clothing, we could feed them, repair their boats. I mean, those ridiculous little boats. I mean, these people really wanted to get away, and so many of them were lost at sea. It was a horrible time. But what we could do, along with helping them with just feeding them and fresh clothing and that sort of thing, we could guide them with our great big battleship. We could guide these little boats to a safe shore, so that they wouldn't get into another situation, because many of them left. They didn't have compasses. They didn't know where they were out on the sea. It was really a terrifying time. And we also had a facility outside of in Northern California, outside of Weimar. And we leased it was an abandoned tuberculosis sanitarium. And there were lots of great big buildings, lots of rooms, and we were bringing in the Vietnamese refugees and trying to help them find a job, find a sponsor, become assimilated into the United States. And we, as an example, we would take them to the supermarkets, because there were no supermarkets in Vietnam. So we were showing them a way of our life here and helping them. And we tried to find jobs for them. And I brought in seamstresses and typists so that they could learn a craft. And I got to know a group of women fairly well. And they were these incredibly wonderful women that I grew to love them so much. And they were all trying so hard to make the United States their home. And with trying to find a job for them and different things, I noticed they all loved my fingernails. They really were fascinated with my fingernails. And so many of them commented over a period of time that I thought, well, this might be a really good idea for them to learn how to do the manicure at that time, which was a fabric wrap. And it made the nails very, very strong. And it was becoming very popular in the United States. And so I asked my own manicurist if she would come up from the Los Angeles area up to Weimar in Northern California and teach the girls how to do this manicure. Because I thought this would be a really wonderful job for them. And so she came up once a week for about 8 weeks. And each time she'd come up, she'd give them a procedure to work on. And they'd practice on each other, they'd practice on me, and it was, we had a great time doing it. And after the course was over, I contacted a beauty school, because in order to work as a manicurist, you have to have all of the licenses and the cosmetology license and that sort of thing. So we arranged for that, for them to go to school, and they all got their teaching and their licenses, and off they went. And it became, of course, the Vietnamese have a wonderful way of communicating, and they find each other, and all of a sudden these women were so successful at this job, and they were getting to the point where they had their own shops, and it was pretty impressive. And the word just spread like wildfire, and it has become now a $7 billion business. It's huge. It's absolutely wonderful, and it gave all of these people an opportunity to get into the United States and have a job, have being able to take care of their families, and it was amazing.
Yes. So why did you decide at that time to help them with the nail job, not other job?
Well, that just sort of fell into place because it was a very popular thing to do in the United States to have beautiful nails, and so it just seemed like a very, very good business for these women, and it was. Yeah. And it turned into this incredible. It just grew like it was a phenomenon, actually.